My name is Margaret Vance, and I am 62 years old. Last Tuesday, the police chief's son, a petulant young officer named Derek, mocked a quiet local veteran named Arthur during a crowded afternoon lunch service at the town diner. Derek laughed loudly, kicking Arthur's battered canvas duffel bag across the linoleum floor while demanding that the old man clear to the premium booth. A heavy silence fell over the room as Arthur merely adjusted his faded cap, his weathered hands trembling slightly as he held his cold coffee cup. Derek did not realize that his public cruelty would ensure his family's immediate downfall, or that a legendary military leader would soon arrive to completely alter Arthur's fate. Before I tell you what happened next, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story resonates with you. Drop your city and local time in the comments below. I love knowing where you are listening from. 2. Flashback in family hierarchy. The town of Oak Haven was a place where appearances dictated your survival, and no family understood that better than the Millers. Chief Thomas Miller managed the local police force with an iron fist, valuing public deference and strict obedience above actual justice. His wife, Evelyn, spent her mornings organizing charity galas at the local country club, ensuring her pearl earrings and impeccable posture masked a bitter indifference toward anyone beneath her social standing. Their eldest son, Derek, was the undisputed golden child of the county. He was handed a badge the day he turned 21, despite failing half his academy exams. The town saw the depth of this favoritism during the annual 4th of July parade, where Derek was paraded on the lead float while his quieter, more competent colleagues were forced to clear traffic in the blinding heat. But Oak Haven also had Arthur Pendleton. Arthur lived in a modest cottage near the edge of town, spending his days working on small engines and keeping entirely to himself. To the superficial elite, he was an invisible man in a frayed coat. Yet Arthur possessed a rare ally in Judge Samuel Sterling, a respected retired magistrate who functioned as the moral arbiter of the county. Judge Sterling knew Arthur's true history, keeping a locked leather portfolio in his study that held documents from decades past. The signs of the coming storm were everywhere, if the Millers had only known how to read them. 3. Mistreatment montaged. The pattern of arrogance from Chief Miller and his son escalated steadily over the years, transforming from minor slights into calculated psychological warfare. The summer Derek turned 22, he used his cruiser to block Arthur's small driveway for 3 days without explanation. When Arthur politely asked Chief Miller to have the vehicle moved, the chief simply glanced up from his desk and told Arthur that municipal business always took priority over civilian complaints. Arthur nodded quietly and walked home in the rain. By the winter of 2023, the exclusion became financial. The town council, heavily influenced by Evelyn Miller, sought to seize a portion of Arthur's land to build an auxiliary parking lot for the country club. They offered a paltry $500 for an acre of prime timberland. When Arthur refused the transaction, Derek began orchestrating daily traffic stops outside Arthur's cottage, issuing frivolous citations for non-existent vehicle defects. Arthur paid every fine in crisp United States currency, never uttering a single word of complaint to the clerk. The manipulation peaked during the town's autumn festival. Evelyn Miller publicly rescinded Arthur's volunteer credentials at the Historical Society, falsely claiming his old military duffel bag looked untidy near the welcome pavilion. She made the announcement in front of 20 prominent citizens, her voice dripping with artificial sweetness. Arthur simply slung the canvas strap over his shoulder and walked away, his face entirely expressionless. 4. Inciting incident. The final break occurred on Tuesday, November 14th at precisely 12:45 p.m., while a cold autumn rain beat against the windows of the Oak Haven diner. The diner was packed with 30 local residents, including 3 town council members and the branch manager of the regional bank. Arthur sat quietly in the corner booth, sipping his black coffee and reading a worn manual. He had done nothing wrong, he was merely existing in a space the Millers believed belonged to them. Derek Miller walked in, his uniform brass gleaming, accompanied by 2 junior officers. Spotting Arthur, Derek marched over and kicked the old man's canvas duffel bag across the floor, demanding the booth for his party. When Arthur did not move instantly, Derek leaned down, mockingly saluted, and loudly declared that freeloading vagrants had no right to clutter premium seats. The response from Derek was intentionally disproportionate, designed to humiliate Arthur in front of the entire community. Arthur did not shout or argue. He calmly picked up his bag, set a $5 bill on the table to cover his coffee, and whispered a single line to the waiter, "Thank you, son." He stepped out into the rain with absolute dignity. If you have ever had to stand tall and maintain your composure while someone tried to publicly diminish your worth, please share your experience in the comments below. 5. Strategic preparation. Arthur did not react blindly. He prepared with methodical precision. That very evening, he activated his hidden resource by visiting Judge Samuel Sterling's private residence. The judge opened his heavy oak doors and immediately retrieved a locked leather portfolio from his study. Inside lay Arthur's original military records, alongside a certified irrevocable trust and federal real estate deeds that proved Arthur actually owned the entire plot of land where the Oak Haven police headquarters stood. For the next week, Arthur demonstrated total competence. He consulted with top-tier federal estate attorneys and financial advisors in the capital, gathering airtight documentation regarding the land lease boundaries. He made meticulous lists of every illegal traffic citation Derek had issued, pairing them with municipal code violations. Yet, on Friday night at 2:00 a.m., Arthur sat at his small kitchen table and wept quietly into his hands. The pain of the town's betrayal weighed heavily on him, and he briefly considered backing down just to preserve his quiet life. But looking at the photograph of his late commander, he knew that establishing the truth was a matter of survival, not malice. 6. Public reckoning. The public reckoning took place the following Thursday at the annual Town Council Gala, held in the Grand Ballroom of the Oak Haven Country Club. Over 200 high-profile witnesses were present, including the mayor, corporate investors, and regional media outlets. Chief Thomas Miller stood at the podium, delivering a smug toast about the family values that kept Oak Haven safe and prosperous. Suddenly, the heavy double doors opened, and a decorated 4-star general, flanked by 2 military escorts, walked into the ballroom. The room grew entirely silent. The click of a dropped dessert fork echoed against the marble floor. The general completely ignored the mayor and Chief Miller, walking straight past the head table toward the back of the room where Arthur stood in his neat press coat. With 200 eyes watching, the general stopped, snapped a crisp salute, and asked in a clear, resonant voice, Sergeant Pendleton, "Do I have your permission to sit with you?" Arthur returned the salute with perfect composure. He then walked to the front microphone and calmly presented the certified federal documentation. In a level, factual tone, he revealed that the police department was in breach of its federal lease and that Chief Miller had actively weaponized municipal law enforcement to cover up personal financial coercion. Chief Miller's face turned completely white as the corporate investors immediately stood up and exited the room, leaving the Millers utterly humiliated in the wreckage of their own lives. 7. Consequence cascade. The consequences fell upon the Miller family like a series of tumbling dominoes over the following weeks. Federal investigators arrived in Oak Haven by Monday morning, launching a full audit into the police department's funding. Chief Thomas Miller was forced into a sudden, disgraceful retirement, stripped of his administrative bonuses and his local standing. Derek Miller faced immediate termination from the force, followed by formal state charges for official misconduct and falsification of records. Evelyn Miller's name was quietly removed from the country club's board of trustees, and her former social peers refused to return her phone calls. The financial collapse of the Golden Child was absolute, as Derek was forced to sell his luxury truck to pay his escalating legal defense fees. Throughout this entire cascade, Arthur remained completely passive. He gave no interviews to the local papers, posted nothing on social media, and never once contacted the broken remnants of the Miller family. He simply lived his quiet, dignified life, allowing the natural results of their choices to unfold around him. If you believe that the truth eventually exposes every injustice and that patience is the ultimate strategy, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. 8. Resolution. Seen months later, a quiet evening found Arthur sitting at a long wooden table inside his cozy cottage. The setting was simple, featuring mismatched wooden chairs and the rich, comforting aroma of fresh bread and wood smoke. The light from the fireplace cast a warm glow across the room as rain drummed softly against the window pane. Sitting around the table was Arthur's chosen family. Judge Samuel Sterling laughed softly while pouring coffee, and the young diner waiter, whom Arthur had taken on as a mechanical apprentice, sat nearby discussing an engine repair. There was no matching china or superficial performance here, only genuine warmth and mutual respect. Arthur raised his glass in a quiet, simple toast to the future. The Millers were entirely absent from the frame, their frantic emails and deleted voicemails remaining completely unanswered. Their total irrelevance was Arthur's truest victory. 9. Closing sermon. If you are watching this today and you recognize yourself in this story, please remember that your quiet endurance is never a sign of weakness. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to let your actions speak louder than words, and you are fully permitted to remove yourself from environments that require you to shrink. Family is not defined by blood. Family is entirely about who shows up for you when the storm starts. Setting boundaries is not an act of revenge. It is the ultimate form of personal survival. The truth does not possess an expiration date. Thank you for listening, and may you find the strength to walk your path with dignity.